Rimuru followed Mjöllmile's lead, and they moved to his estate. The butler went to welcome them immediately and must have known Rimuru already due to his several visits in the past. Mjöllmile ordered tea for Rimuru and Rimuru said, sorry, I seem to have interrupted with your work. Mjöllmile laughed it off. No, Rimuru. I wanted to settle things with that silly person long ago. He used his position as a noble to burden me with difficult cases every time. Rimuru is surprised that the freaky-looking dude was a nobleman. Rimuru can now show his face directly when visiting human towns because he was able to completely suppress his aura. He thinks it's convenient since his mask got broken the day he became a demon lord. Maybe that's why, as soon as that mister saw his face, he must have mistaken Rimuru for a young girl. But Rimuru wouldn't lash out over such minor things. Unlike Veldora-kun, he knew how to read a situation and go with it. Rimuru went easy on him because he acted pretty high-born. Speaking of which, since Mjöllmile cut ties with him, maybe he didn't really need to worry so much. Then Rimuru asked, that noble promised to set out for revenge, isn't that kind of bad? And Mjöllmile responded, it would, but that man, Kazakh, is nothing but a parasite. Speaking of his proposal this time, he is trying to use slaves, even elven ones. Rimuru asked out in surprise, elves. He recalls that he saw a hunch of elves in that Dwarven Kingdom nightclub. He also heard that Ellen had an elven bloodline, but they were not considered to be monsters, rather demi-humans. And slavery was likely outlawed around there. Rimuru asked, wouldn't that make him? And Mjöllmile interrupted, a crime? Yes, very much so. That man planned to make me an accomplice. Although I've done some bad things in the past, not even I am brazen enough to enslave an elf. And Rimuru asked again, so it is indeed criminal. What would happen if people found out? Mjöllmile explained, good question. Despite how the man looked, Kazakh is still given the rank of Viscount. Blumen's a small kingdom, but that means the noble class isn't that extensive. Even someone like him has a fair amount of clout. Rimuru couldn't believe that man just now was a Viscount. No wonder he kept insulting Rimuru like that. If that's the case, he would be a higher-ranked nobleman than Fuse's friend Baron Veryard. It was no surprise Mjöllmile said that he's hard to deal with. Rimuru again asked if it was okay, and Mjöllmile confirmed that it's okay, and since he's an underworld boss after all. There's no need for Rimuru to worry because Mjöllmile can sort things out with his power. However, Rimuru still had to give him some words of advice. He said, hold on, you really ought to be more careful since I'm here to give you an important job. That's right. Rimuru had been in talks with him about all kinds of matters. If Mjöllmile ended up getting harmed because of grudges held by some strange noble, Rimuru would be really troubled. So Mjöllmile assured him again, wahahaha. It's fine. Mjöllmile, have a lot of confidence in my good luck. Look at the relationship I've built with you, for starters. Mjöllmile laughed out loud, seemingly wanting to dismantle Rimuru's worries. That's why Rimuru likes him. But he couldn't afford to wait until after something happened. So he should send out a bodyguard beforehand to protect Mjöllmile. He just have to make sure Mjöllmile doesn't find out. Mjöllmile then asked his concern, by the way, Master Rimuru, what brings you here today? Upon being asked, Rimuru recalled his reason for visiting. Throwback to the time when they planned to gather all the monsters from the Jura Great Forest and the leaders of human nations to host a large-scale celebration. They called it Tempest Founders Festival and had already decided the dates for it. Now that Rimuru had made peace with Hinata's party, all his anxieties were gone. The date of Yaum's coronation had also been settled, and they had sent word to all neighboring countries to help that plan along. He could also promote his crowning to the neighboring nations. Right now Rigard and his men were working intensively and sending out invitations to the leaders of the world. News of the nationwide festival had riled up enthusiasm across all of Rimuru's domain's monsters, and his subordinates was formulating plans to wow them during the event. For example, Shuna intended to launch an entire lineup of new dishes to impress their guests. Moreover, she was working tirelessly to create colorful cakes in an effort to open up a cafe of her very own in their nation. Rimuru also introduced the renowned pastry chef Yoshida-san from Ingratiate to Shuna. He had once turned down every offer Rimuru sent him, yet he couldn't help himself once he met Shuna. Yoshida said, I received many people's care when I opened my store here in Ingratiate. I'd be happy to help you too, but I can't really leave here. And Shuna replied politely, I hope you will reconsider. Shuna bowed her head politely to request the favor. It was a little show-off, but powerful to shake the heart of any man. The elegance of her movements was mesmerizing. Yoshida-san tried to play cool on the surface, yet he was totally wrecked on the inside. But he said, flirting won't work on me, you know. If you truly wish for me to move no matter what, then show me how excellent your ability to cook is. If you can make dishes that would satisfy me, I may just reconsider things. Due to Yoshida-san's proposal, the whole thing turned into a culinary showdown somehow. But it didn't pose a problem at all. Shuna's culinary skills were, after all, top-notch, to which everyone would agree. Rimuru said, Shuna-san, give him everything you've got. Make your best dishes and this arrogant cafe owner will surely run out of words of praise. Shuna was highly motivated. Yoshida-san's art of cooking ignited her fighting spirit. The dish was tamagoyaki. She used the kitchen to prepare dishes beyond simply delicious. Yoshida eyed the results on a dish, then nervously swallowed before using a fork to silently place the tamagoyaki inside his mouth. He exclaimed, delicious. And it was a one-hit knockout on him. After having a taste of Shuna's overwhelming culinary skill, Yoshida-san finally recognized her. Shuna said thank you. And then she once showed off her charms by smiling. What she did was a fatal blow to Yoshida's heart which had him completely fallen. And so, Shuna and Yoshida-san became good partners. Their business would definitely be going through the roof. Rimuru had a feeling that they would become the center of attention. Gabiru also have been collaborating with Vesta in hosting a presentation reviewing the history of the healing potion. They intended to keep the core fundamentals of their research a trade secret, but they wanted to use this pavilion to recruit new people interested in joining their team. It was no exception for Kurobi and the eldest of the three dwarven brothers, Garm. They would all be showcasing their proud work. Kajin would also return sometime around the festival. As for Geld, Rimuru told him to take a vacation, so the construction work would probably be put on hold for now. He also informed his staff that their prisoners of war deserved a little celebration as well. The feast was planned to last for around a week, so Rimuru hoped everyone could have fun. Speaking of which, Xian wasn't falling behind either, she seemed to be planning something as well. Xian said, haha, I hope you're looking forward to it, Rimuru-sama. She was very confident, and Rimuru got half excited and half scared. In addition, it was the same for Veldora, he had made some bold declaration again. Rimuru thinks it's better to do something about that before Veldora starts freaking people out. Looking at these people, Rimuru figured he should probably pitch in the involvement of his old friend, Mjöllmile. Now on the present time, a servant entered to serve them red tea. Rimuru says, anyway, Mjöllmile, I've got another job for you. A piece of cake really, it should be easy peasy for Mjöllmile-kun. And Mjöllmile asked, oh, another bright idea of yours? Young master's commission has always been interesting, if equally as exhausting. Mjöllmile responded to Rimuru's words with a smile. They were after all working on the fast food chain expansion plan to sell food items such as hamburgers. Rimuru said, haha. Oh, don't be a stick in the mud, Mjöllmile. Regarding the plan I handed to you previously, before shops are set up in Bloomend and Ingratiate, I hope to open up a shop in my own kingdom to experiment. And Mjöllmile replies, oh, I actually appreciate that offer a great deal. Speaking of which, since you've come to make the proposal, does it mean that the problem with the Holy Knight Order has been resolved? Even though they were no longer in conflict, the problem of the doctrines of Rumonism would still remain. If they were going to continue dealing with the Western nations, they couldn't afford to ignore the Holy Church issues. Yet this issue had been resolved nowadays, so there was nothing to worry about.